Shot for 99 Gaming. This is the Daryl Dixon recap and some bold predictions. So I was going to do this the other night, and then we decided just to table it so everybody get a chance to watch it. We could come in tonight, talk about it fresh. Very casual stream tonight. So if you guys are hanging out with us, super, super cool. We're not here for a whole bunch of clicks. We're here to just get our ideas out there and shout out a few people, get your ideas, get your thoughts into what happened, what we think's going to happen, and the direction of the franchise. I see E Beach in the house. I see Brother Fluff in the house as well. We got look at our green team. We got our mods here. We got Dr. Dye. Good to see you. C Kayak, the 999 gaming and trivia and word search champion. C Kayak is always up on the leaderboard. And tonight we're just doing something a little bit different. You guys have been around the channel for a long time. You know, we do a little bit of everything. We do some gaming. We do some strategies and predictions. We do some Play Dead Live, our own game. And tonight we just want to go over and get kind of your thoughts about the show. So typically what we do, I like to get people to score the episode because it's kind of a raw, live reaction to it. So I think that immediately when we get a score, we can change that score a little bit. So let me get kind of your thoughts, not just from episode 6. I want you to give me a score and give me your thoughts of the entire 6 episodes. Where do you guys think that that this one landed overall? So one smash, Codron. And I'm going to go over Codron in a little bit, and I'll tell you why I think that he had a change of heart. He's a believer. We're getting some believers out there. So, look, we got some people thinking it's in the 9s, that it has a little bit of staying power. I'm right there with you guys. So, but I also got to tell you, when Fear the Walking Dead came out, I thought Fear was a 9. I thought the way they did season 1 of Fear was excellent. And my fear, no pun intended, is that it's hard to replicate. And we saw a little bit of that even in Sunday night's episode. So I'm just going to point out a couple things, and I want to get your reaction to it. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll jump around. I'll call on some of you guys and get your thoughts on the video. How many of you guys had serious memories of Winslow when Daryl and Quinn were fighting the enraged walkers? Did that not give you a Rick versus Winslow feeling all over again? So my thought is here, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Because when we get to some of that repetition, that's what scares me a little bit. And not that it's bad. But it's delicate, right? So if you do that too many times, the audience is going to be like, well, we kind of seen that before. Now, I didn't have a problem with Fallu getting the shot off. But what I'm going to tell you guys, there's a lot of coincidences happening around Laurent. This guy's power of prayer is pretty legit. So he's pretty confident in what he knows. And then when he prays, something good usually happens right after, right? So initially, it was Izzy basically saying, Lord, please save Daryl. And Lauren is basically like, look, don't sweat it. he's got this. And he's like, see, I told you. And then all of a sudden, there's this craziness coming out. And then Laurent is like, I better start praying. I thought it was very interesting as well. Exactly, Bones. He didn't pray for his dad. So, and he didn't really weep over his dad as well. So, could one surmise that maybe he kind of knew it was going to happen? That he just knew it was inevitable and he didn't waste any time trying to change the inevitable? You got that right. Well, so Smash Media, I don't think Laurent is immune, but he might be a repellent. And what I mean by that is, we see at the end of the episode, he's basically up there on that rock calling out to Daryl, and he's got these walkers around him, and he has no fear that they're going to come bother him. He's up on that rock basically saying, Daryl, Daryl. And Daryl just kind of looks at him like, I'm not worried about this kid. So let me ask this question, because this is kind of I won't say it's a negative drawback, but why is it that you think, let me give you a parallel, okay? How many people here have seen the Christmas movie Die Hard? Raise your hand. Let me know if you've seen Die Hard. All right, so most everybody. How long did it take you in Die Hard to know that Hans Gruber was a bad, bad man? Like, in screen time. First 30 minutes? First 30 minutes of a movie? All right. So, help me out, participate with me. You'll see where I'm going with this. I don't go down dead ends. I'm pretty direct. I'm planting a seed that we're going to grow and harvest, and I'm going to get you to the next. I'm going to get you to the berries here in a minute. So, it didn't take very long for us to get an immediate impact that Hans Gruber was a bad, bad dude. All right, so I want you guys to help me out for a minute. Tell me a movie that you watched, that there was a villain in that movie that freaked you out a little bit, scared you a little bit, made you know that they were a villain. You know, maybe Silence of the Lambs. I mean, give me some of your ideas. That a movie just made it so obvious to you. I'm not talking about silly ones, funny ones, corny ones, Freddy Krueger, right? That's good. I mean, you know, We're Halloween. Jaws. Yeah, I mean, Jaws, you knew that shark was a bad, bad dude. Who else? Who else has some villains? Like a horror story type of villain. Jason? Okay. Saul, there you go. Now let me tie this in. When Negan got out of the RV, was it pretty obvious that Negan was not there to play around? We heard so much about Negan. We knew that Negan was not to be toyed with. All right, so my point to this is I have zero fear of the Croat. I have zero fear of Janae. Not even a little bit. So, if we can be afraid of a villain in a horror movie in 20 minutes, why can we not develop a villain? And maybe it's not their intent to, but if there is something I feel is lacking in whether it's fear or whether it's Daryl Dixon, I'm just not worried about these villains. I had anxiety seeing the Sadiq flashbacks of Alpha decapitating those people. They could have made it worse. And one could argue they should have made it worse. But I'm not sure what the MO is here. They've given me so many bits and pieces of so many different things. It goes back to the dude's question earlier about Codron. There really is no bad guy in Daryl Dixon right now. And we've seen 6 episodes. I mean, you got Janae sitting there like it's a Game of Thrones scene. And Daryl takes the head of the walker, throws it up there, and they're going to usher her out. And then they can't even contain Daryl and Quinn because of Falu. And then the next thing you know, it's like, go hunt him down. So I'm entertained by Daryl Dixon. I'm not moved by it in the creepy way that I thought I would be with The Walking Dead, that I think I should be with The Walking Dead. I thought the first episode was excellent. I thought the flashbacks, it put me back into the moment of Rick and a teddy bear girl. And I'm like, this is the way it was again. But then as soon as we started going from A to B to C to D, I would have just liked to seen like Janae decapitate somebody, I guess. I mean, make me the Dama, Janae, the Croat, make me fear them. I thought we were going there with the Croat. Like I was starting to get some nice Croat vibes until he went to the Dama and then just kind of kissed the ring. Yeah, so, and sea kayak, this is kind of, I guess, the cultural change for me. Powerful, but not scary. But did people just become afraid of death and torture all of a sudden? Because that used to be really the motivating factor. Jenny, too. Jenny ended up, could have been super, super strong. I thought Jenny was going to be a nice villain. But I just, the Pope. I mean, I can go on and do this all day. How weak did the Pope turn out to be in The Walking Dead? Didn't you guys think the Pope and that group was going to be like the next coming of the saviors? And they just fizzled him out. Now, here's what I'm going to say. The ones who live, we better have a lot of bad dudes. If you're going to keep Rick Grimes for like 10, 12, 14 years, however long he's been gone, I mean, we're talking Rick Grimes. We're not talking Aiden. You better have a whole lot of people. I agree with that. Pamela Milton, yes, I agree with that. So I better see like some vile, vicious people doing some things we've never seen on Walking Dead. So I'm going to go back to the walkers. You know, you saw some of the different walkers, the acid walkers, they're melting stuff down. These experiments, obviously, they're planned. They're trying to be harvested. They're trying to be weaponized. But let me ask you guys this. Other than a little bit of a cool factor with Daryl fighting them, was there anything else that kind of moved you guys about them? Other than like, this is pretty cool. We know Daryl's going to win because it's his show. And I think I was watching this timeline the other day. It was like a 2-minute timeline. And it started with like, I don't know the exact year, but it started, say, 1990 or 95 or something. And it had all these shows stacked up, and it showed which show was the most popular year after year. And it showed how like Friends rose up, and then Prison Break rose up, and then Walking Dead rose up, and Game of Thrones rose up. And The Walking Dead's peak popularity, when people could not stop talking about it, when every spinoff was great, really was when you had the governor. And then you went to Negan. Like that's their zone. So I'm going to throw this back at you guys. Would Game of Thrones have been interesting or upset? You would obsess over it if you didn't have that evil force trying to take over? I say no. So to me, that's the part of it that I think I'm just looking for it. I'm looking for that operation. It doesn't just fold. Jenny's operation folds. The Pope's operation folds. Alpha was pretty good. I thought the whispers were well done. But I thought Codron was going to be that dude. And Codron is basically the Croat. And Janae is basically Jenny. And who knows about the Dama? I don't know about her. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that's not an unpopular opinion. I think it's a very, very valid opinion. Somebody that we're attached to. I mean, we don't need all these people disappearing in the Walking Dead universe, and we don't know Jerry and Aaron. And I mean, apparently Judith is going to be in the Daryl Dixon series. Now, Bones, what you're saying ain't right. What Fluff said is right. We ain't killing Maggie. We're not killing Maggie. We're over it. Well, I mean, but the first thing you have to do is you got to get attached. So, I think the guy's name at the end was Lo Sang. That was the guy that runs the nest. Now, maybe if Lo Sang turns out to be a backstabbing, betraying person, but he looks too nice. He looks too nice for me right now. And he was kind of telling Daryl, like, hey, if you had a change of heart, you could stay here. So I thought initially he was trying to get rid of Daryl. And that's what I was hoping. I'm like watching, and I'm like, oh, they're taking that little walk. He's going to say, hey, thank you for helping. Go get on the boat. See you later. Now, we'll see. Now, when Daryl comes back with Laurent, maybe Lo Sang will tip his hand, and it'll be like, I don't know. The only thing that could kind of make him evil is if he's got the nest and he's harvesting all those people to turn them into walkers, making them think they're safe, but they're not safe. Probably not going to happen, but I'm just giving you some good things that maybe he's just rounding them all up like sheep, and he's the shepherd, and he's in on it. That would be kind of cool, right? So, I won't put it past him right now. That's kind of my hope. Because, look, in most cases, things that are too good to be true are. There ain't no way that nest is going to stay the way it is right now. So here's what I think. All right, who's ready for a bold prediction? Because I see it. I see it coming from a mile away. And it's a super bold prediction. All right. Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon in France went straight up Game of Thrones on us. Visually, they got us in tune. They got the castles. They got the medieval. So the nest is King's Landing. And Lo Sang is a traitor. It is going to be madness. It is going to be chaos. It is going to be Daryl and Laurent. And Laurent is the next coming of the Messiah, and they got to protect him. Even Codron believes it. People are starting to believe it. So as they believe it, Lo Sang's from New Jersey. What the hell is he doing in France? He's from New Jersey. He is in on it. He's with CRM. He's just letting them live their best life right now to get all of us to let our guard down. And he's suckering them. Because look, you can't go across the countryside in France and gather everybody up. You got to make them come to you. You got to put the candy down for them. Oh, the nest. Go to the nest. And you build that community up. Lo Sang don't care about any of those people. He's on the payroll. Exactly. Get them to believe in him and then get rid of the threat. Because it is high time that we get a villain and we introduce him to what is going on. And I think we're going to see it. See, that's good. Translates to diamond. Hardened. Indestructible. Shiny. We're going to see Lo Sang sitting back like, see, here's what he did. He gave us that whole, unless you have a change of heart, then you consider this home, knowing dang well that Daryl is a rebel, and rebels got to run. So he's only saying that to Daryl because he knows it's going to wake him up. It's like reverse psychology. He's telling Daryl, like, you can stay here, it's home, basically calling him soft, right? You don't call Daryl Dixon soft. It's a cheap shot. And then Daryl is going to be like, hi, this ain't no damn home. Hi, I'm on the boat. I ain't saying bye to nobody. All right, so, and then Lo Sang is going to be like, ha, 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 he's gone. You know, he's like watching him walk away. I got this. And then we're going to see Laurent and Daryl coming back, and then we're going to see Lo Sang, like, pissed off. Because even if he wasn't in on it, he is used to being the top gun. People don't take kindly to Daryl coming in stealing their thunder. They won't take kindly to Laurent. So what Lo Sang has been tasked with is making sure this is the real deal. See it with your own eyes. And this either use it or get rid of it. That's my bold prediction. And then we can start to create some bad dudes. Because Janae is not. She ain't going to be. And if they do it now, they've already wasted their chance. Like, she should have been sitting in an office, smoking a cigarette, And all right, so there's another thing that was um, eerily similar. In fact, wasn't eerily similar. It was the same damn thing. All right, Dead City. I'm gonna see if you guys caught this, and you might not have caught it, but if you didn't, it was the same thing. All right. Do y'all remember? And this is gonna bother you. This is gonna bother you when I remind you of this. You're gonna be like, "Oh my God, Kills! It happened that way, right?" If it hits a nerve with you, I want you to type "OMG, Kills." Y'all remember when Percy came back? Do you remember his boss interrogated him, gave him a cigarette, and said she could spot liars? You guys remember that? It just happened on Dead City. Did you see Janae give Codron a cigarette and tell him she can spot a liar? I mean, you can't make this up. It was the exact same thing. They replayed the same damn scene. It's like now you're like, yeah, they did. So this scares me. It scares me that we couldn't do something a little different. Yep, she worked alone in a museum. There's a million other ways we could have done that scene without making it an exact repeat of something we just saw a couple of months ago. So just a little cool thing. But both of these series I enjoyed. So don't get me wrong. I mean, neither one of them were bad. I enjoy both of them. I'm going to watch both of them. I didn't stream um, last couple weeks, but I enjoyed them. So now let me transition. And I mean this in the utmost respectable way. Because Carol's star power is not what Daryl's star power is. She's just not as popular of a character. She's a good character. My question to you guys is, do you feel like she can carry I it's not whether I like Carol or not. It's where the general Walking Dead community is going to gravitate around Carol carrying the next season. What are your thoughts on that? I want to ask it that way. I mean, I don't have another way to ask it. I'm not saying Melissa McBride's not an excellent actress. She is. I'm just saying the storyline. But see, with the book of Carol, my I, idea is we're not going to see a lot of Daryl. That we're going to see mostly Carol and her story. See, HFG, that's what it looks like to me. It looks like season 1 is the book of Daryl, and I think season 2 is the book of Carol. All right. So, Here's why I bring that up. Because I don't think she's going to have to. Bold prediction number 2. You guys are ready? Give me triple nines. You guys want bold prediction number 2. I don't have spoilers, so I'm going off the cuff here. This is just me being me. I've not gotten any confirmation, etc. So because I have seen the cast that they initially rolled out, I'm going to say Carol does not carry the next season because I think there's going to be a little stowaway that's going to meet up with Carol, that's going to want to find Daryl, and is going to want to find Rick and Michonne. I think it's going to be Judith. I think it's going to be Carol for an episode, and I think the rest of the season will likely be Carol and Judith, and I definitely think Carol and Judith can carry a season. I think you need a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So I think we'll see a lot of that. That we're going to get to a point of we got Daryl here, we got Carol and Judith here, we got Rick and Michonne here. We got to start converging. And I do know that Judith is scripted into the Daryl Dixon show somehow. But because we didn't see her, then I think this is where, and Judith should be at a point now where she's a badass. So let's not worry about Judith tripping and, oh my God, the walkers are going to eat me. Judith's going to pull out a pistol and shoot some walkers. Judith is going to be legit. The next coming of Rick Grimes, except with better aim. All right, so on a weird love triangle note, Isabelle has to die. For several reasons. She got to die at the nest. Thank you so much, H. I can't say it fast. Yeah, I can talk 20 minutes straight and I can't pronounce 3 initials. Thanks so much, HFG. Appreciate that. So excited finally made it live. Glad to have you guys live too. So I'm still confused by, they did ask Daryl this. Have you ever been in love? Sylvia asked him that, right? So I think Sylvia said, have you ever been in love? He didn't answer. So, yes, he was in love with Beth. And then, yes, he moved on. And he has an affinity, something for Carol. But now we got Isabelle has taken a strong liking. Yep, Leah as well. Yeah, so Leah, I'm not sure. I mean, Leah might have been like a six-month cabin booty call. I don't know. The Leah thing, I'm trying to understand. And I'm estimating, I don't know how long they were out in the woods together, and then the change, and So I don't know. I don't know if he loved Leah. Beth, I would say yes. Carol, I would say yes. But I know that Isabelle has some strong feelings for Daryl. So we can't have that. Because, right, you got Connie, you got Carol, you got Isabelle. At some point, man, it's got to stop. Um, Fluff, that's a good question. I think it depends on when we find out more circumstances of why Daryl always has to leave. So it's kind of like that bro promise, right? Well, there's a little more to it. Number one, Daryl knows that Rick's out there. So he's going to do everything he can to get Judith, her dad, and her mom back. So that's a priority. But number two, I'm going to give you another character. And you guys are going to be, I'm going to give you another OMG kills moment, okay? You guys play along. I'm on fire tonight. All right. I'm going to give you a character from a movie. And when I tell you this character, you are going to be like, oh my God, Kills. I never thought that Daryl was this character. But I know, and I've had this feeling for a long time. I just haven't shared it with you guys. All right? So, I don't want to tip my hand too early because you guys know what I'm talking about. Daryl is Doc Holliday in Tombstone. That's exactly who he is. Whether or not they use that as a template to influence, and Rick is Wyatt Earp. And there's one part from Tombstone that's just always stuck in my head. And I always thought about Daryl and Rick in this regard. And it's when Wyatt looks at Doc and he says, I've got a lot of friends. And Doc says, I don't. That loyalty and that bond that, when Wyatt was going to go for the showdown at the end, and Doc had to play like he was a little more sick, and had the showdown with Johnny Tyler. I mean, what'd he say? Why, Johnny Tyler, you look like someone just walked over your grave, right? And he's like, fight's not with you longer. Well, I beg to disagree. And he has the badge and he says, this time it's for keeps. And then he looks at him and says, okay, longer. Say when. When? And all right, so that interaction to me has always been Rick and Daryl, right? So Daryl is going to go to the end of the earth to find Rick. He's already done it. He already did it before he met Leah. He did it when he got tortured. He's been going up and down this river trying to find clues for Rick. He's never been able to let it go. And now it's more personal because you're seeing Judith grow up. And all of these partnerships and relationships, and can I be with Connie? Can I be with Carol? Can I be happy? The paradox to this is, remember, Johnny Tyler had to keep killing because he said he's just got a black spot where his soul used to be. Well, Daryl's kind of the opposite of that. Daryl is never going to be fulfilled until he finds Rick or dies trying. There's no nest, there's no castle, there's nothing. Now, he did get that little smile on his face, like, all right, now I got this kid looking up to me. So we're going to be led to believe that Daryl's quest for Rick is going to be put on pause. And I think at this moment, Daryl believes that too. I think he believes that, you know what? There might be something to this. Maybe I can't save the world and Rick Grimes. But we know that ain't going to last long. That's not what the show is about. The show is about Daryl's journey. And it is about Rick and Michonne's journey. And like C. Kayak said earlier, this group may not be scary, but they're powerful, and they have these network of people all throughout the world. And I'm going to bet you dollars to donuts right now, Lo Sang is on the take. He is in on it. He has to be. Good to see you, Eric. And I do think that's a good way to get us to let our guard down and sort of be shocked at the way they're going to bring it down. All right, so I won't go into time frame. Do we have a time frame? A release date on? And if those of you that like Fear, I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't do it. But the ones who live, do we have a release? February. All right, so we know Rick Grimes, we know Michonne, we know Jadis, so that should lead us. Um, and as we'll get a few more of who could be starring in it as information is released. But yeah, we got to see Aaron, we got to see Root. Come on, we got to see some of these characters, and I think really putting a spotlight on Rick and Michonne and adding some of these other names in there, I think is the way to go. I've always thought that they kept too much of a cast on the payroll to have them give us 5 minutes every week. Yeah, I think, AC, I think we've got another 4 or 5 years of The Walking Dead. I think we'll get to that point. That kind of feel good moment. Yep. We got to have a Morgan speech, right? All right, everybody. Hey, I'm glad we got a chance to get together, chit chat about Daryl Dixon, some bold predictions, the future of The Walking Dead. Um, we'll do this more often. We'll do a Tuesday, Thursday stream leading up to the ones that live. And I mean, I mean, with the popularity of that show, we're going to be there front and center. I think we got, we got some good opportunity. We got Rick and Michonne. We got the Book of Carol. We got Maggie and Negan coming up. I think it's going to be a strong Walking Dead year for us. And certainly great having all of you guys here tonight, hanging out with you guys, doing, we'll get back to funneling it down again. We do bold predictions, and then we funnel theories down. We eliminate a few things, but we got a pretty good track record. So I need all of your help and continue to get those theories, get those ideas out there. We'll put it together and we'll see how it goes. If you guys don't know a little bit about us and you want to pop in some of our streams, we do gaming Monday night, Wednesday night. We have our own RPG that we do on Friday nights. We have a web portals in production. Once it launches, it will be playdeadlive.com. One of the reasons why I mention this to you guys is that will be a hub not just for our online game, not just for our RPG, but we'll offer other ideas, contests, news announcements, links to our streams here. So there'll be a little bit more on there. So there'll definitely be some incentive for you guys to go in and sign up. There's going to be some games. There'll be a fishing game. There'll be a mining game. Some other things that we do. We've worked really hard to keep our community together all the way through COVID and changes in the way that we stream. We got a very, very strong foundation. So once we get closer to that, I will post a link up and you guys can go in and just register, hang out with us. What's up, Nav? Good to see you. Nav Malcolm in the house, everybody. So we got, a lot of our old school users, but you can go in, set up an account. Yes, there will be some inventory things that you can do, but there'll also be some of the other things that we do as well. So thanks, everybody. Just showing up as we're winding down. But if you guys missed the stream, check it out. Watch a little bit of the playback. And stay tuned because we will be doing this again. And again, that web portal is going to have a calendar on it. So you'll be able to go in and check in and find out when we're going to do live streams and then some other things that we're going to do. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you all soon. Appreciate you. And we'll be in touch. Peace.